Good morning. Today we'll start with gas vapor mixture and air conditioning. So temperature below critical temperature, the gas phase of substance is frequently referred to as a vapor. The term vapor implies a gaseous state that is close to saturation of substance, raising the possibility of condensation during a process. So we discuss mixture of gases that are used above their critical temperature. Therefore, we are not concerned about any of the gases condensing during a process. Not having a deal with two-phase greatly simplified analysis. When we are dealing with gas vapor mixture, however, the vapor may condense out of the mixture during a process, forming a two-phase mixture. So this may complicate the analysis considerably. Therefore, a gas vapor mixture needs to be treated differently from an ordinary gas mixture. Several gas vapor mixtures are encountered in engineering. In this chapter, we consider the air water vapor mixture, which is most commonly encountered gas vapor mixture in practice. We also discuss air conditioning, which is the primary application area of air water vapor mixture. So differentiate between dry air and atmosphere air. Define and calculate the specific and relative humidity of atmosphere. Calculate the dew point temperature of atmosphere air. Relate and the adiabatic saturation temperature and developed temperature of the atmosphere air. Use a psychrometric chart as a tool to determine the properties of atmosphere air. Apply the principle of conservation of mass and energy to various air conditioning process. So dry and atmosphere air. Air is a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen and small amounts of some other gases. Air in atmosphere normally contains some water vapor or moisture, which is referred to as atmosphere air. By contrast, air that contains no water vapor is called dry air. It is often convenient to treat air as a mixture of water vapor and dry air, since the composition of dry air remains relatively constant. But the amount of water vapor changes as a result of condensation and evaporation from oceans, lakes, rivers, showers, and even the human body. Although the amount of water vapor in the air is small, it plays a major role in human comfort. Therefore, it is important consideration in air conditioning applications. The temperature of air in air conditioning application range from about -10 to 50 degrees Celsius. In this range, dry air can be treated as an ideal gas with a constant Cp value of 1.005 kJ per kilogram with negligible error. So taking 0 degrees Celsius as the reference temperature, the enthalpy and enthalpy change for dry air can be determined. So this is enthalpy of the air, which is Cpt, and del H, which is dry air, is equal to Cp del T. So where T is the temperature in degrees Celsius and del T is the change in temperature in air conditioning process, we are concerned with the changes in enthalpy del H, which is independent of reference point selected. It straightly would be very convenient to also treat the water vapor in the air as an ideal gas, and you would probably be willing to sacrifice some accuracy for such convenience. Well, it turns out that we can have the convenience without much sacrifice. At 50 degrees Celsius, the saturation pressure of water is 12.3 kilopascal. At pressure below this value, water vapor can be treated as an ideal gas with a negligible error under 0.2%, even when it is a saturated vapor. Therefore, water vapor in air behaves as if it exists alone and obeys the ideal gas relation. So, the pressure of your CK, partial pressure of dry air is PA and that of water vapor is PV. So, total pressure, the atmospheric pressure, is equal to pressure of the air plus pressure of vapor. The partial pressure of water vapor is usually referred to as the vapor pressure. It is pressure water vapor would exert if it exists alone at temperature and volume of atmosphere air. Since water vapor is an ideal gas, the enthalpy of water vapor is a function of temperature only, that is H is equal to H of temperature. This can also be observed from the TS diagram of water. So this is here, so this is your enthalpy, which is constant. So it is a function of temperature also. The enthalpy of water vapor in air can be equal to the enthalpy of saturated vapor at the same temperature. That is, enthalpy of vapor is equal to Hg of the enthalpy of water vapor at 0 degrees Celsius is 2500 kJ per kilogram. The average Cp value of water vapor in the temperature is -10 to 50 can be taken as 1.282 kJ per kilogram. Then the enthalpy of water vapor can be determined approximately as Hg is equal to 2500 plus 1.82 T. So in the temperature of -10 to 50 degree. Specific and relative humidity of air. The amount of water vapor in air can be specified in various ways. Probably the most logical way is to specify directly the mass of water vapor present in a unit mass of dry air. This is called absolute or specific humidity, also called humidity ratio, and denoted by this omega. Omega is equal to mass of vapor divided by mass of air. So its unit is kilogram water of vapor per kilogram of dry air. The specific humidity can also be expressed in terms of pressure. So it will is equal to 0.622 pressure of vapor by pressure of air. While this pressure of air is also written as the total pressure minus pressure of vapor. So specific humidity can be translated in terms of pressure of vapor. Consider 1 kg of dry air. By definition, dry air contains no water vapor and thus its specific humidity is 0. Now let us add some water vapor to dry air. Specific humidity will increase. As more vapor or moisture is added, the specific humidity will keep increasing until the air can hold no moisture. At this point, air is said to be saturated with moisture and it is called saturated air. Any moisture introduced into saturated air will condense. The amount of water vapor in saturated air at a specific temperature and pressure can be determined by replacing PV by pressure of gas, the saturation pressure of water at this temperature. So, however, the comfort level depends more on the amount of moisture the air holds relative to the maximum amount of moisture the air can hold at same temperature. The ratio of these two quantities is called relative humidity, which is phi, which is mass of vapor by mass of gas, is equal to also pressure of vapor by pressure of gas. So put the PV value, which is 5 pg, in this equation. You will get relative humidity is equal to mega P by 0.622 plus mega into Pg, and mega is equal to 0.622 5 Pg by P minus 5 Pg. The relative humidity ranges from 0 for dry air to 1 for saturated air. Note the amount of moisture can hold depends on its temperature. Therefore, relative humidity of air changes with temperature even when its specific humidity remains constant. Atmosphere is a mixture of dry air and water vapor, and thus the enthalpy of air is expressed in terms of enthalpies of dry air and water vapor. In most practical applications, the amount of dry air in the air-water vapor mixture remains constant, but amount of water vapor changes. Therefore, enthalpy of atmosphere air is expressed per unit mass of dry air instead of per unit mass of air-water vapor mixture. The total enthalpy of atmosphere is sum of the enthalpies of dry air and water vapor. So, in this diagram, you can see this is your dry air, this is a moisture omega kg. So when you will calculate enthalpy, it is enthalpy of this dry air plus omega into enthalpy of the gas. So also you can express enthalpy as enthalpy of air plus enthalpy of vapor, which is equal to mass of air and enthalpy of air, mass of vapor and enthalpy of vapor. Also note that ordinary temperature of air is frequently referred to as dry bulb temperature to differentiate from other forms of temperature that shall be discussed. Dew point temperature. If you live in a humid area, you are probably used to waking up most summer morning and finding the grass wet. You know it did not rain the night before. So what happened? Well, the excess moisture in air simply condensed on the cool surface, forming what we call dew. In summer, a considerable amount of water vapor during the day. As the temperature falls during the night from 1 to 2, the moisture capacity of the air, which is maximum amount of moisture air can hold. So after a while, the moisture capacity of air equals its moisture content. At this point, air is saturated and its relative humidity 100%. Any further drop in temperature results in condensation of some of the moisture, and this is the beginning of dew formation. So the dew point temperature dP is defined as the temperature at which condensation starts to begin when the air is cooled at constant pressure. In other words, TDP is the saturation temperature of water corresponding to vapor pressure. So this is your dew point temperature pressure. So dTP is equal to T saturation correspond to this pressure. This in this TS diagram, this is the also temperature where your condensation start to condensation will takes place. Condensation will start here, and the complete you can say moisture will condense at this point. You have probably noticed that when you buy a cold canned drink from a vending machine on a hot and humid day, dew forms on the can. The formation of dew on the can indicates that the temperature of the drink is below the dew point temperature of surrounding air. The dew point temperature of room air can be determined easily by cooling some water in metal cup by adding some amounts of ice and stirring. The temperature of outer surface of cup when dew starts to form on the surface is the dew point temperature of air. So this is liquid water starts to form. Dews on this you can see can when the temperature of the cold drink is below the dew point temperature of the surrounding air. Adiabatic saturation and wet bulb temperatures. So relative humidity and specific humidity are frequently used in engineering and process sciences. it is desirable to relate them to easily measurable quantities such as temperature and pressure. One way of determining relative humidity is to determine the dew point temperature of air as described in the last section. Knowing the dew point temperature, we can determine the vapor pressure PV and test the relative humidity. This approach is simple but not quite practical. Another way of determining the fluid or relative humidity is related to the adiabatic saturation pressure shown segmented on TS diagram. The system consists of long insulated channel that contains a pool of water, a steady stream of unsaturated air that has a specific humidity omega-1, and a temperature of T1 is passed through this channel. As the air flows over the water, some water evaporates and mixes with the stream. The moisture content of air increases during this process. So air will carry some water and your moisture content will increase. So if the channel is long enough, the air stream exit temperature exists saturated air, which is phi is equal to 100% at temperature T2. So this channel is long enough, the air will be fully saturated. So if makeup vapor is supplied to the channel at the rate of evaporation temperature T2, the adiabatic saturation process described above can be analyzed as a steady flow process. So this is your adiabatic saturation temperature, this is dew point temperature. So from 1 to 2, this is your adiabatic saturation temperature achieved. This process is adiabatic, and you can see mass balance. Apply this mass balance here. So which is equal to mass balance 1 is equal to mass balance of A2 and is equal to mass rate. The mass rate of dry air remains constant. Means whatever dry air at 1 and 2 will remains constant. Mass rate of so this is mass rate of wet air plus mass rate of your fluid plus mass is equal to mass rate of water wet air at the outlet. So mass rate of vapor in the air increases as by an amount equal to the rate of evaporation. So this is your equation here, that is mass rate of air into omega-1 specific humidity plus mass rate of fluid is equal to mass rate of air into omega-2. So thus mass rate of fluid is equal to mass rate of air into omega-2 minus omega-1, which is the change in the relative specific humidity. So energy balance, apply energy balance. Since heat transfer is 0 and work transfer is 0, so mass enthalpy at inlet plus enthalpy of the water is equal to enthalpy at the outlet. So mass rate of air into H1 plus mass rate of air into omega-2 minus omega-1 into HF2 is equal to mass rate of air into enthalpy at outlet. Divided by Ma dot gives H1 plus omega-2 minus omega-1 into HF2 is equal to H2. And you can put the enthalpy value of enthalpy, which is CPT, and you will get omega-1 is in terms of this, in terms of HE1, HF2, omega-2 in terms of Cp temperature and HF2. So also this here specific humidity at inlet and specific humidity at outlet is given by this relation, that is pressure minus pressure of the gas into 0.622 pressure of the gas, means vapor. Since phi 2 is 100%, so thus we conclude that the specific humidity and relative humidity of air can be determined from equation by measuring the pressure and temperature of air at the inlet and exit of adiabatic saturator. The adiabatic saturated process discussed above provides the means of determining the absolute or relative humidity of air, but it requires a long channel or a spray mechanism to achieve saturation conditions at exit. A more practical approach is to use a thermometer whose bulb is covered with a cotton wick saturated with water and to blow air over the wick. So you can see here we had a thermometer which will cover with the cotton wick. The air will flow and it will take the moisture from this. Due to the moisture carried by the air, the temperature at the bottom temperature will drop. So whatever the temperature it will show when your air will carry the moisture is called as wet bulb thermometer temperature, which is denoted by TWB and is commonly used in air conditioning applications.